What's up, YouTube? It's Gonna Run 13, and today is Saturday, July 2nd, and 2 days before the 4th of July. I wanted to get out a couple videos to you guys before the 4th. I don't think I'll be able to be posting on the 4th, due to plans. So I wanted to get a couple videos out. Of course, I wanted to start off first by saying, happy 4th of July. It's a great day, great holiday, the birth of our nation, July 4th, 1776. Always like to put out that reminder to remember what the day is for, not just for the party and the celebrating, but it is, it is a good day for that. But, happy birthday to this great nation, this nation that I love. This nation that allows all these freedoms that I have to put out videos and, on the topics and the things that I do, even though that some of these freedoms are taken away from us, and we have to fight still for these freedoms, certain freedoms and all, but, this is the country that I love. I swore to uphold the Constitution. And it's just a great nation, so I want to say happy 4th of July, and everybody enjoy, it's a time for family, friends, enjoy those barbecues and, the fireworks and, all that stuff. It's a great time. Just remember what the day is about. I really love 4th of July for one. It's, going back to when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite. It's actually, my second favorite holiday. Always a big fan of Halloween, and always 4th of July. Just summer, warmth, everything. It was always a great time to me, and it still is. So, that being said, I want to put out a couple videos. One thing I want to touch on is the subject for, I basically want to talk about different ammo magazines, or magazines for ammo, should I say, and I want to just kind of stay on topic of for main battle rifle type of magazine options, different things, not clips. Hate the word clips, but magazines, and I want to talk about particularly magazines for two different main battle rifle platforms, and we will go ahead and kind of get into it. And basically what I want to talk about here is, rifles for these two platforms here, the AK-47 of course, and the AR-15, and just talk about in general a few different magazine options that I use and what's out there and what I would like to use. Okay, first off, we'll talk about AK-47 magazines, and this is just a few different magazines that I pulled out to kind of talk about. Really, when you got magazines, there are two types of magazines in general, two different categories, and that being your mil-spec steel mags, and also your polymer option. Okay. Now, what I like to use mainly, for the real deal, for the most part, are steel magazines. I have more confidence in them. I do in polymer, but to an extent, and I'll kind of go over that. On the end here, first off, these are actually Bulgarian steel mags. And, these steel mags may all look the same, but there are little, just like AK-47s, little bits and pieces that, that are different, just like the AK-47s, for the different variants and countries of origin. Same thing with the magazines. Sometimes they look the same, but certain welds and markings and things will give it away, or let you know which AK-47 or which magazines they are. Now, these are mainly what I like to use a lot. These are Bulgarian steel magazines. These work really well. I get a good deal on these too, so I got an abundance of these. This is mainly what I use. So my go-to rifle, for the most part, will have these options. Okay, of the steel Bulgarian AK-47 mags. These also are Bulgarian steel. So a couple of those out. Just want to kind of show you. Now, another steel magazine that I like to use are these right here, and I believe these are Romanian origin. It's hard to tell sometimes. One way you can tell usually that at least that the magazines are from Europe or Eastern Europe, COM-block countries, will have this actual ridge on the back. So these are believed to be Romanian magazines, and these work just as well as the Bulgarians. So, you know, I have no problem, you know, having these in my actual load-bearing equipment ready to go in case of need. So these are a couple different Bulgarian, or sorry, of the Romanian. Here's one loaded with the ridge. Pretty much the same as what we just showed you. Now here is an actual Russian magazine, steel magazine. It's got the ridge on the back just like this Romanian. You know, pretty identical, but certain little markings and things you can tell the difference between them, and I know this one is a Russian magazine. I got a few of these. I'd like to get more, of course. You know, you're going to get really good quality with Russian when it comes to AK-47s and AK-74s with the Russian parts. Same thing with the Bulgarian and these as well. You know, I definitely, you know, pretty much bet my life on them, or you know, will use them to save my life. So I got to have confidence that they will work, and these have not let me down. Talking real quick about magazines, getting off that subject, or staying on the subject, but I want to throw in real quick. This magazine is loaded, and I know a lot of people have talked the differences of keeping your magazines loaded, and if it ruins over time the tension in your springs. You know, long story short, my opinion is yes, I do believe that they will affect the performance of your magazine, keeping them loaded long term. So I do revolve these out. So what I do is I'll have a certain amount of magazines loaded for a certain amount of time, and then I'll switch them out with some other magazines. That way I always do have magazines at the ready, but long term I'm not going to keep them loaded. You know, I don't want to, at the worst time, find out, you know, that the magazine is bad. So I'd rather just do that. So what I'll do is, like I said, I'll keep certain mags loaded, and then after a certain amount of time I will unload them, put them towards the back of my mags, and then grab a new batch and load them up. Okay, so here's another steel mag, and this one is actually a Chinese mag. It doesn't have the ridge on the back. Once again, another high quality mag. I got a few of these too. Got them with my my Norenko Mac 90, Chinese Mac 90. So these work well. Got a few of them. You know, I pick any, see any more of these for sale, I'll buy them, of course. Same thing with the Russians, the Romanians, and of course the Bulgarians. Which the good thing about those Bulgarians is I could get them at any time for pretty cheap, under $10, which is nice. Okay, now switching gears a little bit, we're going to go to the actual polymer side of the mags. Now, when it comes to polymer mags, you know, it's touch and go. There's some things you want to look into the actual magazines to know if you can depend on them. Okay. Now, certain magazines, I don't mind polymer magazines at all. Certain ones I will only use, you know, for range time or stuff like that. I won't have them in my go gear, you know, ready to deploy type of stuff, because I'll go into it a little more why. But when it does come to polymer mags, there is a single magazine that is the top of the line, best, hands down. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any with me right here. to show you, those are Bulgarian Circle 10 magazines. I think everyone can agree they are the best polymer magazines, and I'll tell you why. But I do own 6 of them. I'd like to get more. They are a little pricey, but you can get them, so I do need to order more, which I will be doing. Okay, but I do keep 6 of them, and I do keep those 6 actually with a chest rig, with my chest rig and also my Yugoslavian M70 AB2. I keep that chest rig and the Circle 10 magazines with that AK, and that is deployed to a off-site location in a like a bug-out location, which I've talked about, where I do keep my my Yugo. Well, I keep those magazines with. Okay, that shows you how dependable I feel they are, because I do keep those mags, you know, in a place where I will might more than likely need them, or I'm expected to use them if need be when I need to get that rifle and those mags. It will, because I will need them. And so I do depend on them. The closest I can find to what a Circle 10 is, and this actually came with my Arsenal. And these are great. This is a little 10-round magazine. I want to get more of these too. But it's polymer, but it's so heavy duty and strong. And it's got the steel feed lips, okay? And it's got the steel front lug, and the back locking tabs are both steel. Now that's something you want in a polymer magazine, because these lugs break, or these tabs break. Steel feed lips, you want them steel enforced. Very important to depend on. This also has, I believe, it's steel inside lining that goes up the front and back. That's what the Circle 10s are. That's what the Circle 10s have. That's what makes them the top of the line best. Okay, now that being said, I've talked about my number 2 favorite polymer mags are actually these Polish polymer mags. Okay, I'm not sure about the reinforcement of steel on the inside parts of these, but they do have the reinforced steel lips, feed lips, and the front and back tabs are steel. Very important. A lot of polymer mags, you will not see that. You'll see maybe feed lips, steel, but the front's not, the back's not, so on and so forth. Now there is a magazine, and I don't know what it is about American-made AK-47 magazines. They just can't really nail a good magazine. Now the best out there, from what I have heard to being a quality magazine, is US Palm makes a synthetic polymer mag, which has a steel feed lips, and I do believe the front and back tabs too, and it has some steel reinforcement. I think that actually goes around. I have yet to buy one. They run about $30. They're pretty expensive, but I'm going to have to buy a couple, check them out, try them out. I see AK mags, I don't care if they're junk, I buy them. It's just something I kind of collect with AKs. They have a different soul to them, a different, each one is different, so even the gimmicky ones I still buy just a couple just to have, just part of a collection. But these are my number 2 go polymer mags. I will trust these and depend on these when need be. And I have accumulated about a dozen, maybe a little over a dozen of these. Okay, always looking for them, pick them up when I can. Now also going on the polymer mags, here's another Polish, some more Polish. Here's some Bulgarian mags. Now these, this is a polymer Bulgarian mag. It's got this steel enforced feed lips right here, but the front and back tabs are not. They're plastic or polymer. These are the Bulgarians. They got the little bullet indentations. I picked up a few of these. They're a great deal. Picked up 6 of them. So hey, why not? They'll be good at the range. No problem. I would not put them in my gear though for, my go gear, something I will have to depend on to use in a firefight situation. But, I got a pretty good deal on them, so I did buy some of these. Same thing with this. This is actually, still got the sticker on. I picked up a couple of these actually yesterday. These are the clear or smoke Bulgarian polymer mags. Now these have plastic feed lips or polymer feed lips and polymer front and rear tabs. No steel reinforcement anywhere. So these are, to me, more of a gimmicky mag. I got a good deal on them. Once again, they weren't expensive, so I picked up a few of them just to mess with them. You know, maybe use them at the range, or just kind of a gimmicky thing. I will not depend on these at all, whatsoever, in a situation, unless I had to. Now I'll go into another American-made polymer magazine. These are the Tapco. Now, Tapco, give or take, have different reputations. Some people say they're junk, you can't trust them. Some people say they like them. Now, if you look at the specs on them, these are just polymer feed lips, polymer front tab, polymer rear tab. Now, I've seen testing where they break, the back tab breaks, the front tab breaks, different stress tests. Thing about these is I could get these things for like $8. You could get them in OD or Flat Dark Earth or whatever. You know, I've received a bunch of these for gifts, so I probably got, I don't know, over a dozen, maybe more, close to 20 of these. So they go with gear, range gear. You know, I will not depend on these in a firefight or with any of my serious go gear, my loadout. But they're cheap to purchase, so you know, I did accumulate a few of them, but I would not depend on them. Also, for some reason, like I said, American magazines, they just, you know, I was really hoping this US Palm AK mag, and I'm hoping to get it, pans out to be a good mag, because it'd be nice to get a good American-made AK mag for one. You know, they will count as 3 parts for your 922 compliance. Parts because of the 3 parts that make up the magazine, but you know, they just don't seem to make a good magazine. I don't understand why American-made magazines, they can't put in the feed lips, they can't put in the metal rear and back locking tabs. I mean, you think they would know that that's what makes a good magazine. Also, talking about these Bakelite, I actually picked up a couple Ishmash ones the other day. These are extremely expensive. I see people selling these things for $75 each. I get these for $30. So, like I said, this is a Tula. I got a couple Ishmash ones now too. These are awesome mags. These really are. You know, I wish I could use these more. You know, I had more to put in with my Go gear. The one thing they don't have is the feed lips are not steel reinforced. They do got the steel front tab and rear tab. They are heavy duty. I really do like these mags, so I wish I could get more, but you know, some people are just crazy for the amount that they are charging for these. Alright, so this is the AK mags. I'm going to try to quickly go over ARs here. This is running a little long. I don't want to do a two-part on these mags here. For ARs, same options. You get your GI, you know, your regular GI aluminum mags. Great. Get them cheap. You know, they work great. Pick up as many as you can. You know, I actually have quite a few of these GI ones. I've got some that are made in England, which are kind of cool. My favorite metal mags for ARs are these Teflon coated. I actually have, these are DPMS. I actually have a few of these. These work well. I also like the Bushmaster factory ones. These work really well. So you're good to go with those. Polymer mags for AR-15s. These are the first polymer mags maybe they've made. I know these are the first I ever bought. These are made by a company called Thermold. And I've been seeing them pop up again. I actually seen an ad in a magazine recently. I've always liked these. I've always liked these. I have quite a few of these, and I'll pick up more. You get a good deal on them. They're really durable polymer mags. I never had a problem or an issue with them, so why not? We'll go with them. There's another thermal mag. Now, probably the most popular nowadays are your P-mags. P-mags are really, heavy-duty magazines. I mean, for polymer, they're Magpul makes them. No tilt followers. Just kind of funny. I don't know why they ever had tilt followers, but can't say enough about these. You get them in multi-colors, obviously, flat dark earth, black, OD. P-mags, for the most part, the polymers these are my favorite go-to mags. Now, I've been checking out a few of these lately, and I might pick a few more up. I got a few of them. And they're from company CAA, Command Arms Accessories. And these are counter mags. And what it happens is it's got a little counting tab down here. This is red because it's empty. But I think when it's full, it's green. And then there's a yellow when you're getting low. Don't quote me on that. I've yet to really use these, so I'm not totally sold on them. I bought a few, but I got to take them out to the range to really try and mess with them a little bit. But it's nice. It's in a good location that when you're shooting, you can eyeball to see if you're getting low. These kind of are pricey. I found somewhat of a decent deal on them, so I picked a few up. Seem to be pretty quality polymer mags. So guys, that's it pretty much. This is running kind of long here, but this was just a I wanted to get out a video on different magazine options for main battle rifles, that being an AK-47 and an AR-15. So this is going to run 13 YouTube, and we'll have some more videos shortly. Thank you.